Slow and steady, Daniel turned on his heels to face his would-be assailant. The image of a glistening, cold steel blade flashed before his eyes. He tried not to picture the knife's razor-sharp point piercing the soft flesh of his belly, nor the warm, sticky liquid that would trickle then flood from the jagged wound. As he turned, he imagined the mugger's hand holding the knife, dripping with warm, red blood as the blade twisted inside him, mincing his vital organs. He cursed himself. How could he have been so distracted and so stupid? He knew the dangers of being in this lawless neighborhood of Cape Town after sunset. These deserted, impoverished back streets of the mother city were no place to be, especially when unarmed. Yet, here he was, all alone amongst the darkened shadows of once majestic but now tumble-down warehouses and shipping offices. Well, not entirely alone. He'd gotten what his naivety deserved. He was being robbed. As he turned to square up to the knife-wielding brigand, he fought to subdue the primal rage that swirled within the pit of his stomach before rising to his chest. The same rage parched his throat and flooded his mind with violent desires. Ingrained instincts screamed at him to fight back, to not allow himself to be trodden on as if he were nothing but a filthy cockroach. Dopamine and serotonin stimulated the neurons of his brain, urging him to resist and to attack first, with unbridled fury and violence. The muffled pounding of his heart thrummed in his ears as adrenaline coursed around his body. He squeezed his fists into tight balls and fought the urge to attack, to snap the mugger's neck as if it were nothing but a bundle of dry, brittle twigs. Sweat moistened his palms and short, shallow breaths caught upon his parched lips. He must remain calm, to stay in control so that he could disarm his assailant with logic and reason. Violence was not the answer. He'd learned that the hard way on many previous occasions. The new Daniel Sawyer, the chilled-out, mellowed Daniel Sawyer, wanted to negotiate his way out of this predicament. Both he and the mugger could walk away from this confrontation intact as better and more experienced individuals. He'd worked hard to push the PTSD-induced horrific memories into a sealed container at the back of his mind. Those horrific images that could trigger nightmares, flashbacks, and sometimes violent overreactions were finally under some kind of control. He also fought to subdue his anxiety, his fear. This was no ordinary fear. He was not afraid of being robbed and losing his possessions and cash, nor was he afraid of being hurt, stabbed, or even of dying. Daniel was afraid of the demons in his mind breaking free and forcing him to do something he did not wish to do. He understood that the Daniel Sawyer of old would have likely maimed or even killed whoever was trying to rob him right now in this dark, rat-infested backstreet. He mustn't let that happen and, instead, cling to his sanity. Daniel took a deep breath and finished turning to face his assailant, the soles of his running shoes chafing on the dusty, cobbled pavement. To his surprise, the mugger was just a kid, scruffy, skinny, and downbeat. Weeks of living on the city's streets, in their dirt and grime, had dulled his ebony black skin. Wide, once bright white eyes stared back at Daniel, their yellowed sclera spiderwebbed with the hairline cracks of burst capillaries. Daniel's own gaze drifted down toward the boy's raised hand. The knife twitched in the kid's bony, shaking fingers. Facing an attacker armed with a knife was perilous. A frightened, desperate child raised Daniel's apprehension to another level. He returned his gaze to meet the boy's once more and beamed a broad, disarming smile.